I hope you understand the next time you hear about the next great startup company, if you fall for that, you don't deserve synergy because you don't get it. And I don't mean to be rude, but I will tell you, this is 20 years of networking experience. What you have in your hands absolutely dwarfs what I have ever seen in my lifetime. And you know, I'm going to start crying again, sorry. Okay. I'm going to tell you something that I don't share often. Never. My first check with Synergy was about $1,500 bucks. My second check was about $1,500 bucks. About the same. I didn't put anyone on auto ship. Duh. My next check was about $3,000 bucks, maybe $3,500, I don't remember. It took me 7 months and I crossed $15,000 in that month. I started in November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. I went to Japan in August. I went 8 times in the next 6 months. And that following March, my check had crossed $100,000. The only reason I'm telling you that is I promise you there will be people in this room based on this information that will far surpass what I've done. And many of the closest people that I know, that I love very much, know that, you know, I got tired a little while ago and I've had a really fun summer. And you know, Lorna and I just decided, let's just vacation. Let's just play. And you know, we've taken at least probably 6 months off. And our check grew. You name me one business model that allows for that. I told we were talking, and you know, I just want you to know, you got to pay your price first, okay? I worked nonstop for how many years? And we were counting up the hours. My little boy, this morning, because I knew I was preparing for this, he said to me, he said, Mom, because, you know, we have a very special ritual in the morning. We kind of get together and we read as a family and we kind of do our little thing and we go down and I make him a great breakfast. I'm telling you, you should come to my house. And then we drive them to school together and that is a really special moment. And this morning, we did our little reading and all of that, but I didn't go home. I didn't go downstairs. I have an office right off my bedroom, and I went straight to work. And this was my routine, and I would work for a long time. There were days that I didn't even shower because I was so busy working on the phone that there was no time. And you know what? If that's the price tag, what are you doing now? Is it that much easier? No. And what is your security? It's a choice. It is an absolute choice. I know that I want you to look at this little picture. Last night, this just shows you how passionate and how truthfully we absolutely believe this. Last night, Stuart took the advisory board to dinner. And it was almost like this big old fight that came out with the distributor, the leaders. It was so funny. Rudy starts saying, oh yeah, well I take Vitazone and Mystica and Pro-Arginine and Bodyguard and this. And he starts listing all these products off. And then all of a sudden I'm like, well I take this and this and this and this. And then Mark Comer pipes up and he's like, well I take this and this and this and this and this. And John's like, oh yeah, well I take this. And Stuart sat back and again, so profound. He said, you know what? What other company, the leadership, fights about how much product that they're taking and they're trying to outdo the other? I mean, you know something? We really believe it. Is there opportunity for you? Do you think that there's opportunity for you? My gosh, you better hope so. If you don't get it, then ooh! Ooh! There's also a convergence, and we got to kind of close this down pretty quick. But look, there is a convergence also economically that is going on. Do you know right now we've got the highest unemployment in history? Do you know that we've got the highest foreclosure rate in history? Highest bankruptcy ever in history? Do you know foreclosures? Do you want to know something interesting? Do you want to know something scary about foreclosures? Do you want to know what the banks are doing right now? Because they are so scared to take foreclosures on their papers that people are claiming bankruptcy and the banks just aren't recording on paper. And these properties that have been foreclosed are just sitting there. They're not occupied, sometimes occupied, but they haven't been written yet. Do you want to know what is going to happen when all of those foreclosures now have to be written on the bank statements? Do you want to know the trouble these banks are going to be in? What are you doing to protect your future in this? I'm telling you, we don't have many options, and this is amazing. We already talked about there's 3 billion people suffering this. There's the largest demographic aging so swiftly at the very same time that the healthcare reform is absolutely the scariest thing ever, because can anybody tell me what the new healthcare reform is? No. Nope. What is it? Pro-Arch. That is exactly right. These things are absolutely true. Do you know something? And I love this little quote. You will pay now or you will pay later. So there's your choice. Now, we're going to really quickly, I'm running over. Why are you here again? Do you want to try the products? How many of you have not tried these products yet? Okay. Mark, I'm going to hook you up right after. We're going to hook you up because you know what? You need to try these products. How many of you would just love to have your products paid for? Would you love to learn how to just do that? Yeah, so they're just free. Okay, we can teach you how to do that. How many of you are interested in the cardiograde technology, the cardio pulse wave? Yeah. How about if you're a wellness provider? How many of you would like to talk to your wellness provider? How many of you have? Has it been a favorable experience? I don't know that many of you knew this, but the last couple of years that I was involved with Nu Skin, I actually worked with Dr. Jack Pfeiffer implementing wellness protocols in physician offices. That's what I did for a long time. It was interesting. We were far before our time. And so as I took this time off over the last couple of months, I started seeing, and I just could feel it. It was all coming together, coming together, coming together. And I realized that we had something so big and a message needed to be told. And so I pull out all these archives, and you know something? I went to Palo Alto to visit with Dr. Prendergast. It was so interesting. He actually called me on Saturday morning last week, and he invited me to come out and just chat. And I said, that's weird. I said to Lauren, I wonder what he wants. And so we got there and we kind of met around this conference room, and it was so interesting. And basically what we are going to do is we are creating a duplicable wellness protocol, an integrative wellness protocol for physicians to help them create an income source. I will tell you right now that many of his friends, and I will even tell you from his, and you will be able to talk to him, this is crisis time right now for physicians. These are some of the most respectable, most wonderful, honorable people. They got their degrees, they paid their time. Why? Because they wanted to help and serve others. And this group of people are being literally kicked and disrespected by a system that they have no place in anymore. And they're nervous. And they don't know quite what to do, because if you all of a sudden decide to, get away from insurances, that's big, it's risky business right now. And nobody knows what the right answers are. And so if you will just bear with me, I want to read you some scripts that you can have. You just needed to know the foundation. But this would be my suggestion to you if you are going in to see your practitioner or anyone in the medical field. First of all, you need to know that it is very awkward for them for a patient to come in and assume to tell them anything about medicine. And that is probably why you've not had a good experience, because you know something, they kind of don't deserve it, do they?